long as I can remember, I dreamed of becoming a dancer. Shelley Delayne, prima ballerina. Unfortunately, I was a very uncoordinated child. I remember my grade school gym teacher. She used to encourage me to sit on the bleachers and read a book instead of participating in gym class. She had written me off as a hopeless klutz, and by then, so had I. I gave up on becoming a dancer without ever taking a ballet class, and then didn't really know what to become. But now, I have my own business, a co-working space, which I love, and I dance tango for fun. How did that happen? When I moved to Los Angeles, I got cast in a reality television show called Ballroom Boot Camp, like Dancing with the Stars, but for people you've never heard of. We got dances randomly, and mine was tango. And absolutely the only thing I knew for sure about tango right then was that a hopeless klutz could not do it. I was terrified. I was also broke, and it came with a paycheck. So I learned how to tango. And turning my fear into a passion literally changed my life. Ultimately, it gave me the courage to start my own company. And at work, the learning continues, usually sparked by a conversation or something someone says. Like one day, one of our members came to me and just needed an ear because her boss, who was based in another city, was kind of being a jerk. See, she's one of the most hardworking, responsible people you've ever met. And he was talking about installing a webcam over her desk so that he could see what she was doing all the time, which left me thinking about leadership. And it left me thinking about the fact that in life, in business, in tango, when you want someone to do something, there's a choice. There's two ways to go about it. You can force them, make them do it. Or you can inspire them, you can get them to do it. Inspiring them is a little more complicated than force because it requires mutual trust. And trust is not something we often learn about. We know there's not a lot of trust in the world. We know that Harvard Business Review has even said that fewer than 40% of employees currently trust their management. And less than a third believe that their management trusts them. That's not a lot of trust. But does it matter? Well, the Great Place to Work Institute did a study of the level of trust in companies, and they found that companies with high levels of trust consistently perform better financially than companies with low levels of trust. And not just a little better, 3 times better financially because they trust each other. So there's not a lot of trust, and trust makes a big difference in outcome. So what do? Fortunately, trust is not magic. It's a knowable process and a learnable skill. I learned trust through tango. And so can you. Hopeless klutz. If I can do it, so can you. And while trust building may look different at the office and on the dance floor, the underlying concepts and the emotional intelligence skills are exactly the same. How does it work? Well, it begins with connection. Trust always begins with connection. And eye contact is a shortcut to that connection. You see, in tango, people don't actually walk up to each other and say, "Hey, you want to dance?" They make eye contact from across the room and indicate in agreement, and then they meet on the dance floor. And if one of them doesn't want to dance, They just look away. It's very simple. At work, there is also an office cabeceo, and I'll bet you've done it. Especially in an open office environment, it looks like this. You want to talk to someone, so you arrange to casually walk past their desk. And as you're walking past their desk, you watch them as they're typing. If, when you're in their peripheral vision, they look up at you and maintain eye contact and smile, you start talking. If they don't have time right then, what do? They either ignore you or they look up and right back down, right? And you know, oh, they don't have time to talk. So you walk right on by and you catch them later. Connection. And once that connection's been sparked, you solidify it. In Tango, the partners, after embracing, will sometimes even take a breath together. And then, after connecting, the leader makes a clear movement to communicate a request. This happens at work too. You take a moment to connect with someone as a human before you ask them to do something. Things work better that way. Connection, communication, and then the third part, equally important, completion. If the leader in Tango rushes a follower through a step too fast, they literally knock them off balance, and the follower becomes anxious. Same thing happens at work. If you throw lots of projects at your team before they have time to make progress on the ones you've already given them, they become anxious too. Speaking of anxiety, trust building always carries a certain amount of anxiety, because stepping on someone else's toes, literally or figuratively, is always a little painful. And it always causes a disruption in trust. But the missteps aren't what matter. What matters is what happens next. If the leader believes that they were right, the follower was wrong, they will force the follower on the next step. Extra forceful and aggressive, they'll make you do it. Or they can choose to believe that maybe communication was unclear. And then they take a deep breath, you squeeze each other's hands, and carry on. So why does it matter to practice nonverbal micro moments of trust when what you really want is the 3 times better financial performance at work? Because in Tango, it's unavoidable. You step into trust literally with every step. You connect, you communicate, you complete over and over and over again. And that kind of embodied learning gets deeply rooted in the core of your being. And that shows up in how you navigate through building trust in all other contexts. And look around the world. We know what happens when people choose force instead of trust. And the point of life, really, is for people to connect and to build things together that are grander and more beautiful than anything that we can build alone. And the foundation that makes all of that possible is that beautiful, improvised, not choreographed, not memorized, leap into faith. The foundation that makes it all possible is trust. Imagine the world if we all step into trust as beautifully as they do.